What is going on, Aztec Nation? Welcome back again to another episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. It's not a victory Monday, but it is a Monday. Thank God it is Monday. Of course, you know, this is Mateo San Diego. I'm
an Aztec warrior.
Never bow a knee. What's going on, Fiend? What's up?
I'm good, man. Good to be here. Good to talk some hoop. Maybe talk a little softball. It's a good weekend.
A lot to talk about. It's kind of a jam-packed show. We want to thank you guys for joining us first and foremost. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube and if you want to listen to us, because I know we have voices that are made for audio podcasts. You can always do that on Spotify and Apple and iHeart, all that good stuff. Or sonsofmontezuma.com. Make sure you do that. What's going on in the chat? What's going on in the chat, everybody? We're going to have a busy show today. We got a couple things we're going to get into. Of course, the NBA draft combine with one Miles Byrd. We're going to talk a little softball like Fiend said. Of course, the season came to an abrupt end. And then, of course, we're getting into Swish League because right now, guys, what is today? May 19th. May 19th, we are 1 month away from Swish League. That begins on June 19th. So we're going to get into all of that good stuff because, man, summer is going to be here before you know it. And off-season hoops is turning into a tradition here in San Diego. So we're really excited about that. But first and foremost, the Spitballers are going to have their episode, guys. You know, Fiend, you actually took the trip up to LA this past weekend to watch the girls softball up at the LA regional. I was excited. A lot of people were very excited. It was an interesting regional tournament. It didn't end how the girls wanted it to end, of course. They put up a good fight, especially that first game. What was they beat Arizona State that first game, and I was pretty intrigued by that podcast the Spitballers put out because they really got into every single team, kind of listed their standout players and how they thought we were going to do. And I mean, I was pumped, man. I was pumped. They beat Arizona State. Of course, Kai was up there. He was representing for the Sons of Money. And then you ended up going the next day where we played UCLA, and then we got to play UCSB. Give me your quick, just overall take on that trip before we get into all the hoops, all the good stuff. Because, boy, the softball team, I mean, come on, third year in a row that they won a Mountain West championship tournament. So, I mean, they're really establishing themselves as a force. But just give us your brief comments on that.
Yeah, so like you said, we won on Friday, riding that high off of 2 home runs back-to-back in the 7th inning. And we won that game, and we were in the winner's bracket. So excited to face UCLA. Hey, we beat them a couple years ago in the regional, right? So Kai and I were just flying high. Had to bear the traffic in LA getting up there. Didn't get there until, I don't know, 2nd or 3rd inning, and UCLA was already up 3-0. And a couple innings later, they scored 6 runs, and it was pretty much all she wrote. I mean, we knew at that point we were going to be playing in the losers bracket. And then what happened, and shout out, I just want to give a quick shout out to Callie Decker's family. Really, really cool family from Florida. Mom and dad, brother Nick. They took Kai and I over to this like bar restaurant, and they were like, yeah, open tab, whatever you want. And so, you know, we're having a good time with them and just, you know, enjoying the time in between the games.
Oh, okay. Keep going. I want to cut you off at some point, though, because I heard you ran into somebody up there in LA for the games that I don't think you were expecting to. I got this phone call. I got a voicemail, man. Maybe you recognize who this was that you ran into up there. Let's give a listen.
Sons of Monty, this is Barry from La Mesa. I know you're recording a basketball episode, but I had an off-topic question for you. Who would you take in a fight? 100 angry UC Santa Barbara softball dads or one fiend? And also, I wanted to know if you guys were enjoying the show, posting breastfeeding videos on Facebook as much as I have. All right, guys. Thanks.
Oh, never leave it for Barry and La Mesa to disappoint, he's always on time. And Barry and La Mesa, man, I heard you got to meet the Hawaiian shirt wearing Aztec
The
fan.
legend, yeah. It was
Legend.
great to put, a face to a name. I mean, he's just this mysterious, character out there, and so it was great to see him and to meet him for the first time. But what he was referring to was the Fiend whistle was trying to psych out the UCSB batters, and one of the dads came down and he was screaming at me, "Act like you've been there." And I'm thinking to myself, well, I haven't been here. This is the first time I've been to a regional. So I just had to do my thing. But the UCSB fans were not happy with it, and they wanted a piece of Fiend after the game, and I hightailed it out of there. Catch me if you can. I'm the gingerbread man. See ya. And I headed back to San Diego. But anyways, yeah, so good times with the Decker family. They're great people. Really sad to see it end. That's the sad thing. Seeing Callie after the game, like just bawling her eyes out, seeing her dad and her mom, with tears in their eyes. College athletics is special, man. I remember I played college athletics, and I remember when my last game was over, right? And that's it. That's your college career, right? You're not playing any more college, and so that I cried, that my last game. And so I know it was like reminiscent for me, I knew how that felt, and my heart just breaks for her, for all those girls on the team, because they really had high hopes going into this regional, and UCLA just a juggernaut. I mean, they run ruled. Did they run rule everyone? They might have.
They may have. Well, the Aztecs eventually they fell in extra innings to UCSB after UCLA, like you said,
Right.
and it was just. That game went into what, almost midnight or something like that. You said
We didn't get out of there till midnight. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a rough way to go out, but nothing to hang their head about for too long, right? In the moment, I hear what you're saying. They're going to be down, but just another tremendous season. Those girls could really be proud of continuing to build towards, this legacy that Coach Stacy is building down there. And of course, she's going to be, I believe, coaching this summer for
Yeah.
the nation. So geez, nothing to hang their head about for too long, right? But
No.
hey, and then I saw Liberty took down the number 1 seeded Texas A&M, which I thought that was really interesting because Mac Barbara went out to Texas A&M, and who was a Grace Uribe, I believe, came from Texas A&M to State, so kind of had a player trade there. And the number 1 seed Texas A&M, they didn't get out of the regional. So who's feeling worse? I don't know who's feeling worse today. Tough one.
Yeah.
Well, we'll tie a bow on that, guys. Fiend, thank you for making the trip with Kai. Hope it could have been longer, but until next year, until next season.
Definitely. I think anyone who gets a chance to get out there should for regional. It was a lot of fun my first time, even though we lost. It's just exciting. Postseason competition in any sport is awesome, and so it was great. And I will be back. We'll definitely be back.
All right, Fiend, let's switch topics. Let's get into some ball because that's what we're here to talk about, right? So Miles Byrd, as we all know, completed his NBA draft combine last week. We were all anticipating it leading up to it, and he did pretty well. I think he, really stood out. I think the numbers were about on par with what we saw during the Aztec season, right? If you kind of look at the ratios, the averages, I think it would have, equaled out to, I think, the same type of input that he put out there. But it's a little tough because, the injuries, and he spoke about it in his little exit interview, I guess they had on NBA on YouTube, and just kind of talking about the injuries and the inconsistencies and whatnot. But, as we kind of look at some of his clips here, He was impressive on both ends, right? The defensive abilities that we've all seen, the talents, the wingspan. I mean, of course, knocking down some threes. And Fiend, you were all over it on X. You were showing, man, he's knocking down three after three. He got hot at some times, but his teams didn't necessarily win. But I don't think the scouts and everybody are judging too much on that. I think they're looking at the individual, right? So you're trying to make a name for yourself, all that good stuff. So, what did you take away from Miles Byrd's draft combine, and how are you feeling about his chances?
I mean, I think it went as good as it could have gone, as he could have expected it would. Playing against the top 75 players in the NBA draft, he performed great, and he looked in control. He looked calm, cool, collected. He showed really high IQ. He was disruptive on defense, knocking down shots from the outside. That's been the big knock on him, is can he hit shots from the outside? And he hit several, some pretty deep ones too. So he looked like he did during the non-conference season, especially like the NIL tournament. That's what he looked like, and so he looked really impressive. As far as like his draft ability, I think he was on GM's radars, obviously, because they invited him to the camp. You only get an invite if the GMs want you there. But I think after that really kind of solidified in their minds that he's a good prospect. And is he a first round pick? I don't think so. Maybe he could sneak in at the end of the first round, but he's looked at more as like a solid second round pick, right? The thing I really liked about his performance in that game is a lot of those guys who come into that combine, they're like stars on their team, right? They're scorers, right? So they go to an NBA team, they're not going to have the ball in their hands. They're not a superstar. The superstars are going to have the ball in their hands. Miles played exactly the type of role that he would play in the NBA, a 3-and-D player, and he played it so well. And so there's so much value to what he can bring to that type of role. And that's why I think that's got GMs excited. Can he work on his shot? Yes. Can he rebound? Yes. Can he get bigger? Yes. I mean, he was wearing those long sleeve, shirts, kind of hide little, to make him look a little bigger, right? So could he put on some weight and develop? Yeah, he could do that. But all it takes is one GM to give him a handshake and say, we're going to take you second round and give you a guaranteed contract. And that may be all it takes for him to stay in the draft. Again, I don't think we're going to know until the last second. I think if he had performed poorly, he'd probably be back at State right now. But the fact that he played so well and his stock is rising right now. So we'll see. I don't know, but I find it interesting that when we interviewed Luster, who's the guy that he compared? Yeah, Coach Luster. Who's the guy that he compared Byrd to, who he could be next year? Do you remember?
In the NBA, in the league?
No, not in the league. That's right. That in the Mountain West.
Ooh,
so Neek Clifford, remember, he said he could be like Neek Clifford, rebounding the basketball, and that's something he could work on. I don't think that's a coincidence, and I think that's a very a good example of if he came back to State, he could develop into a first round pick like Neek Clifford did this year.
Well, and he outperformed Neek Clifford in that first game against Colorado State at home, right? It was one of those games we took notice of because the talk was about Neek coming in. You see the maturity that he brought with himself, and Byrd outshined him in that game. Of course, second game, different story. Got him back at home. Of course, Neek Clifford led the Rams, and they won the conference eventually, right? But yeah, I get what you're saying. Come back, put a little muscle on. You're going to be down low, getting the rebounds. And Neek was out there at the draft combine as well. I didn't keep an eye on how his performance was.
So he didn't play. There were a lot of that's the other thing that was a little disappointing about the scrimmages is the top players opted out of the scrimmages. It'd have been nice to see Miles play against a Cooper Flag or an Ace Bailey. These guys who are top 5 picks that are going to be starters on NBA teams next year and expected to maybe not be the superstar, but have a significant role in their team. And so it would have been nice to see how he compared against those guys instead of the guys who he did compete against who were second rounders, and some of them won't even be drafted. But still, what the performance that he put up was very impressive. And he just looks so natural doing it too.
Hopefully the measurables didn't knock him down too much. I know it was everybody saying, "Oh, his height and the hair and all that good stuff." But boy, he got out there on the court. I know Rick's asking what did he do that was notable? Defensive steals, rebounding, assists, scoring, all those question marks. Yes, yeah, he did all of that, which he does. I mean, he can take over a game by spreading his game out and just filling in all those, like a glue guy, right?
He has like one of the highest steal and block percentages in the country. On CBB Analytics, they call it like the Hakeem percentage, and he's like in the 100th percentile. Like he's one of the top in college at blocking and stealing the ball. And teams want that because they want to get the ball back into their superstars' hands. And just if he can show that he can knock down corner threes and space the floor, which is what he was doing at the draft combine, there's a huge need for that. And just his instincts and the way he made guys better, passing the basketball. He didn't try to do too much. You notice that? Like he wasn't like trying to like make plays. Like other guys were trying to make plays. He was just trying to play within the offense, play, within himself. And it was a great performance. And that's exactly the role that he needs to do if he lands on an NBA club.
Absolutely. Showing his worth, showing his value, all his strengths, all that good stuff. Fiend, I want to bring in somebody to the conversation, guys. I know we've been talking about it. Real excited to get him back on the mic here with Sons of Montezuma. You guys saw him last season at the Swish League. He was handling a lot of the color analyst duties on the broadcast, and we're really thrilled to bring him back in. Let's bring him in to join the conversation. We're talking about Kev Combos with Kev. I see him back there. What's going on? Let's get him in the middle here. What's going on, Kev? You got to unmute so everybody can hear you. What's up, man?
Good,
how you doing?
Guys? Good to see you guys.
Great
What's up,
to
Kev?
see you, man.
You guys ready for the summer?
Oh yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready for the summer. I want to know what you thought about Mr. Byrd. You got a chance to talk with him last season. What do you think about that combine?
Combine, it wasn't no surprise to me. It might be to a lot of people around the nation due to the Mountain West and like the disrespect that they get every year. But Miles is unbelievable talent, showcasing what we've seen all season with the steals, getting deflections in passing lanes, runaway dunks, expanding his range a lot more. I was very high on that one. That one was really good because the way the league is going nowadays, the 3-point shot's going to have to be there for sure.
I can't even tell you who's in the playoffs right now, man. I'll be honest with you. I just saw Boston got bounced. Talking about the league these days, like how the game is changing, all that stuff.
Right.
I don't even know, bro. I don't even know who's playing. All I know is the Knicks, they beat Boston and they're almost tore the city down. They almost burned the city down already.
I saw that.
Yeah, they're
Guys on
playing the
light
Pacers.
Not like the old days Pacers though. Not with Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Reggie at? Gotta get him out there. See, I could see like, oh man. See, I want to see Miles Byrd if he decides to stick it through, right? Continue on in the league. Whenever he gets to the league, man, I could see him if he can get that range extended even more, like what you're saying.
Right.
That's a Reggie Miller right there, but with better defense, I think.
Yeah, he's right in his confidence. I mean, like you said earlier, if he'd done poorly, he would have came back right away. But the fact that he did exceptionally well, we're not gonna know until like the last second for sure.
Yeah. What is this? Human Ziggy said, "Byrd all but gone now." I don't know. Pump the brakes, man. Pump the brakes. We're selfishly we want to see him come back for the Swish League as well. For the Swish League, of course, we want that coming back. Okay, you asked me if I'm ready for summer, man. Are you ready for summer? Swish League.
I'm prepared. Got the, I'm hydrated. Got the vocal cords all ready. Got some new shirts to showcase. So, you won't be seeing a lot of T-shirts this summer.
Stepping the game up, right? As they say. What did you take from last season, man? Because I know we had some, and we're gonna get into some clips with our next guest from Swish League. Of course, his team maybe had the most exciting moment in the whole league last year. So we're gonna show that. But what did you take from last year? Of course, working with Sons of Monty, working with the Swish crew down there at Lincoln High. Your experience. Obviously, you've played college ball. You're getting the opportunity to announce it and do color commentating and and all that good stuff. Like, what did you take from it?
It was a great experience. I mean, everybody that was a part of Sons of Montezuma and the live stream, it was a great team to be a part of. Everybody on the same page. We had the same goal. There was no selfishness, no bitterness. There was all smiles. It felt great being on the other side of the sideline. Dapping up players that I used to be playing against and announcing their talents on the court and just being in the huddles as well and not having to listen and just being there. It felt great. Having an excuse this time why I'm not listening to the game plan, but it was a great time for sure.
I was gonna say, Kev, did you have any urge to lace them up and get out there on the court?
I did. Of course I did.
You're not that far removed from playing college ball, right? Like, how many years has it been?
I'm
2 years out.
Yeah. I still get a little itch here and then. I played 2 games last season, but I played the AM games. I had to come home, shower, and get suited and booted, ready for the live stream. So it was good.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you
played. What team did you play for?
Man. What did I play for?
Were you just kind of spot duty?
Yeah, I played for 2 teams, to be honest. There's some players that were missing. I said I could hop in for sure. I got my shoes in the trunk.
That's great. That's kind of the cool part of the league too, though. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you just never know. Like, you can get a surprise visit by somebody, like somebody did towards the end of the season. Got a big surprise visit, and I know Mr. Goodall's still hurting about that one, but it's all good. But yeah, man, that's exciting, dude. We were down there mostly just on Sundays for like the game of the week per se. But as you guys know, this season we're stepping the game up. So hopefully get to do some more games, broadcast more amount of games for you guys to check out. And of course, we want you guys to come down. But, if you can't make it, you could watch it on screen and come on down. You could be on TV. So very cool. All right, what do you guys say? Let's bring in our next guest because this coach, he's guiding his team this upcoming season. It's the 7th season of Swish League, and we're gonna show exactly that moment we were talking about. The most exciting moment last year. My vote goes the most exciting moment of last year, and let's take a look. Let's take a look at this.
Your team here has battled from the bottom to the top, potentially winning this game. Kevin Watson did it! The game winner from almost midcourt. Wow!
Devin Watson team just hit a game winner in overtime. What were your thoughts going in for that last shot?
Man, I knew the last shot. I just knew when we went to overtime and it was 7 points. I'm not passing it.
I'm not passing
it. But I just know I knew they gave me some room. I've been shooting it deep for a while now. I didn't want to come off the screen. I was too tired, and I just had a good look.
All right, thank you, Devin. Good job today.
Valley Farm is dejected, the bottom seed in the Swish League. just one. Wow, unreal.
Gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. Okay, we gotta bring Coach in. Welcome, Coach Mike Franciscus. Did I say it right? How you doing, Coach?
You actually did. Not too many people can, but great job. Great job. Yeah, that flick gave me a little chills from remembering all that stuff from last year. That was an awesome experience for sure.
Of course, we're talking about the coach and GM for Team Hit. Team Hit is the name of the program that you got going on for Swish League. What year is this for yourself in the program, Coach?
This is our 4th year going into it, and we've had pretty much the same roster every year, with the exception of Devin. He gave us a nice surprise last year and showed up for us and balled out, especially towards the end.
But
yeah.
before you guys ask any questions, I got to know, because it sounded like it was pointed out to me you were screaming, get downhill, get downhill.
Yeah.
What was going on as a coach in your mind when you saw Dev pull up for that deep three?
So I remember Dev when I was playing at Maricosta College, and he was like at El Camino Army Navy Academy, and he was jacking NBA threes even back then, and banking them as well. So so I knew what was on his mind, but as a coach, I'm always trying to teach attack the paint, attack the basket, and so I was just trying to give him some encouragement to get downhill. But Dev has practiced that shot for decades now, and it showed. It went in, and he trusted it, and it all went our way.
Yeah, we've seen.
He scored, I think, all 7 points in that overtime. I think all 7. It was pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen him make some of those deep shots at state. I mean, he definitely has range, and just a sniper from the outside. And it was so impressive, because that was an upset win. You took down the #1 team in Valley Farm. I don't think they had lost up until that point. I remember interviewing JCJ after a game, like, "Hey, are you guys going undefeated this year?"
Yeah.
And then you guys come out as the 8th seed and pull off that massive upset. That just made things really, really interesting for the playoffs.
Yeah, every year I feel like we have one of those games. So our very first year we played against Wayne McKinney, Justin Elder Davis, and Dog Hours, and we pulled off a triple overtime win in our very first game. And I remember Aaron Bergen saying, "It's the biggest upset in Swish Pro-Am history." And then the year after that, we were the underdog against, I think, Jordan Lawley in the playoffs. And we ended up beating them. And then, of course, making our run through the playoffs against Billy White and those guys. And it was tough, man. Those guys are big, they're strong, and we don't have too many D1 guys on our roster. We have a bunch of D2, D3, and JUCO guys, and they're a little bit younger, but they're hungry. They're real hungry, and they're trying to prove themselves in the league, and that's what is our advantage, honestly. Is nobody plays harder than us, especially defensively, and I try to make sure that happens every possession.
Right, it's the scrappy teams you gotta look out for when you play against them.
Yep. Yeah, especially in the Swish, and it's just great. These guys, it's not only just try and prove themselves. The Swish has key guys like Norman Powell. We got to play against him, Stanley Johnson, Nathan Mensah. All these guys are proven guys, and it's just a gift to be able to play against them, for my guys, and even coach against them.
It's really what made. Go ahead, okay, go ahead.
How's been practicing going? I know you guys got to practice in on Wednesday, getting a little head start. How are we doing?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this year's program?
So I'm definitely orientating our offense more towards like trying to get baseline drives and pick and rolls, because that 3 seconds in the key on defense is
Yes.
totally changes the whole game. You can't help the baseline.
Not at all.
So it's a lot of isolation on the baseline and the post ups. So we've been trying to work on getting some pick and rolls on the sideline, and then defensively just talking all the time. And I've had like 5 guys that I train year round from the team. And then now that summer's here, we get probably like 8 to 12 guys in practice, and just working on team chemistry. And then we'll hit the beach every now and then and do some strength and conditioning and team bonding stuff.
I
That's
want to
pretty
jump in
cool.
because I want to jump in because Kev, you bring up a great point that you guys are actually practicing, which is, I mean, that's not exactly the pattern that most teams in Swish League go about, right? So,
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about your program. How you already said a lot of the guys are hungry D2 guys mostly. So tell us a little bit about what you do as a coach. How'd you kind of begin this team hit? I mean, what does team hit even stand for? All that good stuff. Kind of give me a little background on your program. And you guys going to the beach, all that good stuff.
So I started hit basketball, high intensity training, probably I think like 16 years ago. And Jordan Hillstock and Brad Yasagochi, a lot of the guys on the team, I started coaching them when they were 10. And that goes true for mostly at least half the team. I've been training them since they were 10 or teenagers. And so we've been training every day, and these guys for years, so they've become friends, and we've stayed in contact, and we literally meet up at LA Fitness or the beach or open rec center, and we get one-on-ones in, and we play 3-on-3s. And I make sure also that I talk to the coaches that they play for, like Maricosta, San Marcos, and ask their coaches what exactly that they need to improve on for the next year, so that these guys can continue to get those reps in over the summer, what they need to work on. And but it's the club I have is just a group of North County guys that have been playing against or with each other for at least 10 years. So we're a really close-knit group. We even go out together for whenever everybody's in town, and it's just really fun. And it's, for me, I do coaching at all levels: 5 years old, 8 years old, high school, varsity coach at Oceanside High School. But this group I have is definitely special because we've been together for so long, and we've proven ourselves within the county through the Swish program. And so every year, once they come back, everybody's hitting me up like, hey, when's the next workout? And I only coach. So I'm doing this 7 days a week. I just had a newborn. So it's getting a little tough right now, especially with summer coming up, my busiest time. But it's all good. I'm sure you guys will see my little baby out there once the games start.
Yeah, little baby Eugene.
Yeah. Well, everybody calls me Mike, and he's junior, so his nickname's MJ.
MJ,
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, big time.
Thank you.
So I've been watching Swish League since 2019, since the inaugural season. And when did you guys start playing? Have you been in that league since then? Or when did you guys come in?
We started, I think in 21.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
22.
What I've noticed about your team specifically is you mentioned it, the continuity, because you have like kind of the same core guys every year. But what I've also seen is really the improvement over the years and the development of some of your players, and you've seen your guys go farther than that first year, right? And last year's upset win over Valley Farms, a huge example of that, and guys like Tommy Griffiths, and the Snyder brothers, having Eric Pierce, playing on your team. I mean, like you mentioned, Brad and some of the other guys. You guys are really, I mean, I feel like you just keep ascending every year, and so I think one of these years you could have a breakthrough year and get the semis or the finals. Hey, win the whole thing, even with guys who are D2 players, D3 players, and JUCO is so much talent. But the fact that you guys are playing as a team, that's going to trump some of the teams that have maybe better talent on their team.
Yeah, it allows me to switch up lineups and strategies, which that last semifinal game, I kill myself over all the time because we should have won it all, in my opinion. Because I had a lot of good talent, a lot of bigs, a lot of guards, but we don't have anybody who's 6'10", like Tommy Rutherford and all those guys. So like I got to make sure our strategies and lineups make sense because we have so much talent to use. And I realized that I needed to alternate big lineups and small lineups to get the bigs tired, then start running them. and it was a little bit too late in that semifinal game. I figured out a little bit too late, but yeah, the guys get better because not only do we work out and they work out with me, they work out with each other. They'll hit each other up to go to the weight room all the time and get shots up, compete one-on-one. We got guys who just will compete in practice, and that's the toughest thing, especially with the younger levels and varsity levels I've been seeing. And I mean, even in college at JUCOs, when you have friends and you're practicing with each other, you don't want to hurt each other. You don't want to piss each other off, right? But we have brothers on the team. We have two sets of brothers, the Snyders and the Hillstocks. And all the Snyders, all they do is fight with each other. So it's all good. So we've had some encounters where there's some pushing, shoving, screaming, yelling. But I mean, we all know, like, we all want to win, whether it's at LA Fitness or the Swish Pro-Am. We got guys who compete, so it's and then guys like Benji Hillstock too. He's gotten so much better over the past couple of years. Like last year, he got a lot of minutes for me, probably like a 6-man. And he played against Miles Byrd. He did a great job against him and Norman Powell. And I saw him this year at his Maricosta College games, and he ended up being first team all conference, probably the best defender guard defender on his team. And that's what I'm really here in the Swish for, is because I've been getting these guys, preparing them for middle school, high school, college, and now trying to get the next step for them, and hopefully one day get them an agent somewhere and play pro.
What do you do when the brothers are fighting, man? How do you get between them? Do you have to interject, or you just let them go at it? Let them work it out?
Man, there's a lot of stories. Sometimes we need a break for a month if it gets too bad, but now that I don't know, it hasn't gotten that bad in a couple years because I don't know. I think everybody's matured now. Everybody's in their 20s basically. No one's really in their teenage years. I got a new kid who's on the team, Logan Ardent. He's going to be the next one after these guys move on. But other than that, everybody's pretty mature at this age now. So that helped a lot. Is just the maturity. But I love it too, because I gotta let them compete. I gotta let them push. I gotta let them talk shit, because when we're in the pro-am, that's what those guys do. They're gonna play physical. They're not gonna be nice. They're gonna let you know they busted your ass. They're gonna let you know right away. So if you're not used to that, you're gonna get eaten up. Yeah.
The real definition of practice how you play.
Yeah, exactly.
Coach, I want to bounce off of Fiend. You guys are ascending as you guys go into the Swish Pro-Am every year. You talk about the triple overtime games your first year and entering. With the upset of Valley Farm last year, what has been the toughest year for you guys? Whether that be mentally, whether that be on the court?
I'd say the second year. So the first year we were just happy to be there, to be honest. We were like, when I got the email saying that we got in the league, I was so excited. I remember I was in the gym with Travis and Jesse. I was like, we got in, we're in it, we're doing this. And so we were just happy to be there. And we started off with our first game with a win. So we're like, all right, not only are we excited for this, we belong. And then the second year, we expected to be better. We took a lot of losses in the beginning because the inconsistency of guys showing up for whatever reasons, playing pro, coming back and forth, injuries. But we ended up finishing strong. We passed the first round. We won the first round and ended up losing second round. And then the last year was just probably the funnest year because we did so much winning. We had so much talent. Guys were playing hard on defense. So I have a couple top guys who show up. To get Eric and Devin to play tough defense without getting paid is not easy. It's not easy because these guys literally get paid to play basketball, and then now they're not getting paid for summer. So it's really tough to balance that where, okay, I need you to go hard. I understand where you're coming from and your talent. Also, I got a guy right behind you who's ready to go. who's ready to do whatever you don't want to do. So, and that this last year I did a lot of learning as well, a lot of learning. So I'd say the toughest one would be that second year, for sure.
Yes, sir.
And having Eric Pierce though is always makes the game easy. He demands a double team, and immediately that can start our offense immediately. And he's been basically a centerpiece for our team for the last 3 years. And I'm actually trying to get a hold of him right now, confirm him back for this year. He's been in Vegas because he just had a baby, so he's grinding out there right now. And I heard he's coming back, so hopefully he plays with us again this year.
Last one for me, Coach. You just mentioned that it's hard to get somebody to play defense without getting paid. That's not mentioned a lot, especially with the Swish League. There's not a lot of coaches like yourself. There's more so like managers in a way. So talk about how tough it is to coach players that are used to expecting a paycheck right after a game.
Yeah, so I've learned that through these past couple of years of how to deal with it. So talking to the guys who are on the bench is the toughest part. It's like, because I yell at them all day, every day to play defense. And then they're looking at me like, you're letting this guy on the floor, taking all the shots, not playing any defense, and that you preach to me, you're being a hypocrite. And I gotta bite it on the chin, or take it on the chin sometimes, say, you know what, you're right. I gotta stick to the fundamentals. I gotta stick to what our team is based off of, and that's why we don't have guys leaving and coming back or switching teams, is because I'm trying to be as consistent as possible with effort and attitude. If I continue to play guys who just show effort and attitude, then the guys off the bench are going to play the same way, but as soon as I let it go, it turns into my turn basketball. Right. So everybody just starts wondering, oh, I get the rock now. Now it's my turn to get it. Defense, I don't have to play defense. He didn't play defense and he's still in the game. So talking to the guys who are watching it happen is the toughest part, because I make the mistake by being a hypocrite. 2, talking to the guys who I'm subbing out, who are like, why are you taking me out? I'm the best guy here. It's just honestly, I just tell them like, hey, I've got guys who are ready to play defense. And in the Swish, you have teams that have 3 to 5 players that can just score at every level. So if you don't have 5 guys that can play defense, you're going to get exposed. My starters are my best 5 defenders. Those are my starters. And then from there, we figure out, okay, different type of lineups for speed and size and whatnot. But it's very tough balancing the two, and it takes a lot of politicking. I got to play both sides. I got to talk. I got to make sure that I'm yelling, and then I come back with some softer tone voice and understanding completely. So it's just balancing act with all the players all the time.
Yeah.
Not an easy job. Not an easy job being a coach.
No, but I mean, if you're a sponge, you learn fast, and guys respect that, and I'm just trying to be a sponge in everything I do. I learn something new every day, whether it's from parents, players, refs, other coaches. So that's what I try to preach for myself and all my team, all my players.
It's well put.
Yeah.
Now that you've kind of got that respect, I think, the last few years, like you said, building up, getting those wins, and then last season really, putting your guys out there, getting those wins, getting those upset wins. I mean, what does that mean for you coming into this next season now that, okay, people are, obviously I put Underdogs there on the caption there with both of your guys raising up.
Yeah.
What do you think that's going to mean for this next year coming through, that now people are kind of turning their heads, okay, you can't take team hit so lightly anymore?
I'm hoping all the college coaches just take notice to all my players. That's what I'm hoping for. I know Chiave got a lot of good looks before he went to from San Marcos, and ended up going there, and then all the coaches like SDSU, UCSD, junior college coaches, they all show up. And I'm hoping that more eyes are on those guys who with eligibility. Not to say that I don't care about the pros who are already moved on, but that's not the whole goal for me. The whole goal isn't to win. The goal at this point is to make sure my guys are moving up from every level, and there's no place to get better exposure than the Swish when you're in college. So I'm really hoping to connect with the college coaches, that are coming to watch, and talk to them and let them know about some of the players I got. And in the college San Diego right now, there's a little bit of mixing of coaches. So we got new coach at UCSD, we got new coach at Cal State San Marcos. So you don't know what roster spots are open and whatnot. So I'm really hoping to get some of my guys on those final roster spots for those teams.
Awesome. Guys, you guys got anything else? Anything you want to get out before we start counting down? Because what did we say? May 19th, June 19th is when the season starts. So we're 1 month out exactly. 1 month. Let the countdown begin.
I want to share a Travis Snyder story. I think it's great. Like from was it last year? Not this last year, but the year before. I'm videotaping on my phone because we weren't broadcasting back then, so I'm videotaping on my phone, and he I think he backed down Norman Powell and scored over him.
Hit the
And then
turnaround.
the next possession, he shuts him down, he stops him, and then he comes back down the floor and he scores on him again. Travis, the stockbroker, cooking Norman Powell from the LA Clippers. And I had this on, and so Tommy Griffith's mom was right next to me, and she was like, "Hey, did you get that on video?" She goes, "I'm good friends with their mom." It's like, can you send that to me? And I said, "Sure." I said, "Man, these guys are going to be talking about this when they're going to show it to their grandkids."
Yeah.
The day that he cooked a NBA player in the Swish League. And so that was just so cool to witness that. And I know those guys, when they get to play against the pros like Norman, they really get up for it. And Travis, man, he really showed out that day.
Yeah. I mean, he hit that turnaround. We've been working on that turnaround for years, man, years. So for him to hit that shot was just I was very proud of him. I'm sure he was proud of himself too. But yeah, I mean, playing against those guys like Norman, it teaches guys who have been the top dog for all through high school that, hey, you know what? There's someone better than you. And then if you don't show up and you don't play aggressive, you're not going to do anything against them. And so that was really great for those guys. And to the biggest benefit is when they go back to their other teams. Now their confidence is through the roof because they just played against an NBA guy and went at him and had success. So now they're looking at these other players at D2, D3 JUCO, and they're like, "Oh, this is nothing. I should make this shot. I need to make this shot." But Travis, we need to change that stock, bro. He's actually a lawyer. He's in law school at
is he?
USD. Yeah.
Well, that's what Bergen always calls him, Travis's stockbroker.
Yeah, he does. But we need to change that to the lawyer. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
JK with the stockbrokers be hooping. Well, gotta change that.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I'm excited to watch you guys this year, seeing what you guys did, and now learning a little bit more about you, Coach Mike, and your program, and just the gritty nature of the guys. I want to see these brothers in action. I want to see them get out there and mix it up with these Swish guys, man.
Yep.
Looking forward to it. Really appreciate you joining the show.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I mean, those playoffs are going to be high intensity basketball, and yeah, I could see them maybe breaking through and getting to the final. We'll see. I don't know if they'll win it all, but there's some really good competition out there. But they've been playing forever, and you look at how hard they're training right now, and that speaks volumes about their commitment, and they want to bring home the trophy this year. And so, and everyone loves an underdog story, right?
Yep.
The D2 guys, the JUCOs, the Rio Hondo, players.
NIAs. Schools with no NILs. They're just getting it for themselves.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So, everyone roots for an underdog, and so those guys definitely underdogs who are coming up, and they're hungry. They're hungry to win, and so these teams better watch out for Team Hit.
Just like we're up in our game with our production, every team in the Swish League is up in their game right here.
Team Hit. What do you say? High intensity training. So we'll keep an eye out for them. They got that purple and gold look on your screen.
Lakers.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, Lakers, man. My Lakers. Ugh. The one LA team I will approve of that I like, the Lakers. But boy,
Good thing you don't watch NBA though, right?
Yeah, not so much anymore. But it's all good. Oh man, before we sign off, guys, I know I'm not watching too much NBA, but it seems like everybody's watching WNBA these days, man. What is going on? I feel like there's some controversy going on in the WNBA.
Some wannabe controversy. they're forcing it. It's all one-sided.
Are they?
It's all one-sided.
What? But look at this. She first. Okay, you see the first initial hit. She's like, "Wait a minute." Kaylin said, "No, hold on. Let me get in there and knock you down a little bit. Let me get down there."
Goes for the ball.
Oh, you gotta love it. Slow motion.
I used to be Angel Reese back in the day. I know. I'm familiar with that that little LeBron
that shove
move.
from behind.
Yeah.
Oh, the culprit. See, we got to get this on an instant replay. We got to get this instant replay at the Swish. Andrew, get on it. We need the replay center once again.
Didn't we had instant replay last year, didn't we? You remember that?
We did.
They went to the monitor and they actually overturned.
Yeah. Overturned the call, yeah.
In a summer league game. That's great.
Andrew says he's on it.
Yeah, he said you gotta get paid more though. That's what I heard.
Got to increase the budget.
Yep. That's good times. I can't wait for more new memories, similar better ones.
Yes, sir. Okay, we got some Laker haters in the chat. It's all good. Larry Joe. Larry Joe. He asked earlier, do we think? Kind of going back to Miles Byrd before we end things. Thank you guys for sticking around, of course. But Larry Joe asked about Miles Byrd. He said, will he make his decision on the final day? The final day, which what are we looking at? The 28th of May? Is that the final?
I think so.
Final day to pull out, or will he make the announcement over the weekend? I don't have any inside sources, guys, but I know. I think he's gonna milk it down, take it down. Why not? I mean, there's no rush.
Yeah, I think if the announcement that would come would be, if it came early, would be that he's staying in the draft because he got a guarantee from a team, or multiple guarantees that, like, if he's at a certain spot, they're going to take him and they're going to give him a guarantee contract. That would be my guess. Otherwise, if he's not getting those guarantees, he'd probably wait till the last second because, like we said, there's a lot of guys too out there who could withdraw, come back for big NIL dollars. Right. And so those guys drop out. He jumps up the draft board. And so we'll see. I mean, but yeah, I wouldn't expect any decision that he's coming back to state until like on the 28th. That'd be my guess.
I think a player of his talent doesn't deserve what a two-way player, like a two-way contract, what is looking ideal for him if he were to declare this year. I think one more year will solidify him like a late first rounder for sure, and a guarantee, as you're speaking about that theme. that's looking optimistic with a deep run if he returns.
The other thing is with the two ways, like a lot of these guys that second round that are at power schools, like they're chartering, they're staying in the nicest hotels, they're eating the nicest food. They go to a G League team, they're taking Southwest. Well,
Right.
that's no big deal to Miles, right? Like, I mean, he missed 2 flights on the way up to Cal, right? Like 2 flights got canceled. He
Yeah.
takes Southwest all the time. That's no big deal for him. Those other guys are pampered. So he may think that, hey, G League's not that big a deal. I'll go develop. Like I said, it's sort of, does he want to be the man at state? He's gonna get paid. Does he want to develop his game? Possibly get into the first round, maybe lottery, or does he want to grind it out right now in the NBA and hopefully get a guaranteed contract? That's sort of the decision. It's a tough decision, man.
Yeah, you gotta look at the next year draft too. You got Gilbert Arenas' son. You have Carmelo Anthony's son coming into this next year's draft. You got a lot of talent, So you just gotta pray for the boy. That's it.
Yeah, and and the other thing is how far is he going to go up? I mean, is those guys who are the top spots, right? They're playmakers. They're
Right.
guys who had the ball in their hands, right?
Right.
I'm not so sure that I don't think that's going to be his role in the NBA. I think it'd be, like I said, 3-and-D, man. His defense and his ability to stretch the floor with 3-pointers. He could come back to state, try to work on that playmaking. I just don't know if that's in his game in the next year or two. And how much would, if he doesn't add that to his game, how much would he jump up,
Right.
And so if you're the 43rd pick this year and you're only going to be like the 35th pick next year, does it make sense to come back?
A couple more thousand in your pocket. And it depends on the team and what role you're going to be playing.
Yeah. There's so many factors there.
So many factors.
There's so much he has to weigh. Yeah.
What teams are interested in him that he's hearing about this year as opposed to changing the situation? Yeah, you guys are bringing up some great points, man.
Yeah.
Next year's draft, I think that's key.
And there could be a team
like it's top heavy a little bit.
There could be a team that says, you know what, we can't wait till next year. We need to offer him now because we may not be picking where he's fallen to in the draft.
Right.
And so we're going to give him guarantee. Yeah, if he's there, we're taking you. We're giving you a guarantee contract. And we want to wrap this up.
There he is right there.
Oh boy. I like that idea,
the
man.
Long sleeves.
Yeah.
Send your prayers to Miles.
I gotta ask him about that. What's up with the long sleeve? That was I think that might be ideal. A good business move to hide the muscles.
That was very, very good business move. Yeah, calculated.
All season.
I think Taj rocks the sleeves as well. Just stay warm, shooters.
Right.
I think Reese stays for the most part. I think he does as well. Leaves. Of course, it's been a while.
Reese started it.
Yeah, it's been a while though.
Goon does too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one more question. I know we're talking about draft day, Aztecs. This draft involves another Aztec, because once an Aztec, always an Aztec. Lamont Butler and his draft stock.
He got an invite to the G League Combine, right?
Yeah, and he was ranking high in every category, every test they ran for them. He was like top 12.
Yeah,
but he didn't get the call up to the NBA Combine.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm not sure he gets drafted.
Yeah,
I don't. But I think he could. He's going to have to prove himself in the summer league.
Right.
That's where he can make his money, is in the summer league. And if he goes undrafted, gets picked up by a summer league team and performs well, I think he could maybe, compete for a 2-way contract. Otherwise, he has a choice: either play in the G League next year or, play overseas.
I think his route's going to be similar to Kashad Johnson.
Could be, yeah.
Picked him up right after the draft.
Could be Kashad or even, Jaden. But I mean, I love Lamont's game, and especially his defense. And he showed more like playmaking skills this year at Kentucky. A little more offensive game.
3-point shooting got up too. That's all
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
95.
I think that's
game.
probably factored into why he went there too. It's probably a big reason why.
Yeah. Gotta get that opportunity to showcase, and
he doesn't have
wouldn't be surprised.
He doesn't have the height and the wingspan though that Miles has. Like Miles just has the NBA body. Once obviously fills in,
right?
With some muscle and stuff, but the wingspan that he has, yeah, you can't coach that.
See, man, draft day's coming soon.
Oh man, we'll keep an eye out. Still plenty more to talk about as these weeks keep rolling by. Everybody, want to thank you for joining, of course, this episode, talking about a lot of different topics. We thank you for sticking around. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Of course, join us this summer, a month out from the Swish League Pro-Am, these summer Thursdays and Sundays down at Lincoln High. Hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Coach Mike. We're going to splice that up and have it as a standalone on YouTube. And of course, you guys make sure you check out the audio version. I like the audio versions personally, like going back and listening. I'll have to look at myself here on this thing. But appreciate you guys, everybody in the chat. We'll see you guys hopefully next week with a new guest to interview and maybe some new progress on Mr. Byrd's decision. And maybe something else, maybe something more right there. Kev, thank you for joining, man. Looking forward to hearing your voice. And we'll have to get Mr. Brian on here soon as well, man. Have to get him in.
Yes, sir. It's an honor, guys. Appreciate you guys for giving me the opportunity.
Fiend, any parting words?
No, I was looking forward to calling the game with you again, Kev. It was fun with you and Bryant for that championship game. We had a lot of fun, and so looking forward to doing it again.
Can't wait.
All right, everybody. Everybody have a great night. Keep connected with us on social media this week. We got some little announcements, and we'll see you guys next week. Everybody have a great night.
Yes, sir. You all well.
Peace out. Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.